Hello everybody, welcome back to the Luck of the Draw Grand Finals here at Tee Up Taproom. In today's finals, we have Rich and Bryan taking on Keith and Chris. Rich and Bryan are coming from a lower bracket and will need to win 2 sets to claim victory. The set format, as usual, is best of 3, 501 cricket choice. Alright, it looks like Rich will take the bowl here. He's going to be just low and outside. Keith taking the bowl for Keith and Chris. Looks like he's just a bit closer. Keith and Chris will start us here in 0-1. And Keith's going to take us away here in 501. And gonna spread them all across the front for a 26. Rich able to keep them all straight for a 60. Chris wide on his first start, but does correct for the second too. Hard to see what he scored there. Picks up 40. And Keith with another 26. Struggling to keep those darts straight. Rich gonna look to capitalize here. And he just misses that trip 20 to pick up 45. Chris finding the wrong triple there. 2 trip 5s. And Bryan able to pick up 80. Catching that double 20. Keith going downstairs after being unable to find the trip 20s. And he finds more success on those trip 19s. Rich picking up an 83 there. Still not quite on a finish. Chris with a chance to leave Keith a finish here. See if he moves for this last one. Does, but doesn't quite find what he wants. Bryan goes downstairs for 47. Does leave a finish, 146. And another 79 for Keith. So 114 here leaves 32. Goes for the trip 20 route, but does not find the triple. So goes back downstairs for a 43 to leave 103. Now Chris with a chance to take out 105 here. Look trip 15. Does not look trip 15. Throws the 47. And a 2-darter left for his teammate. But Bryan sitting on 103 here. The 19 to leave 84. Trip 20 would leave double 12. See what he chooses to go that route. He doesn't, goes trip 18. trip 10 would leave double 18 here. You can see him doing the math here. He goes for the 16s, but isn't able to find it. Yeah, 44 score. It'll leave 59 and also a 2-dart out. Keith drills the 18. Needs the double 20. Does find it. And after struggling in the beginning, Keith able to find his footing and pick up game 1 as they go 1 away from winning tonight's championship. Rich and Bryan will have choice for bowl here. And Rich is quite low on that bowl. Chris gonna look to punish. And he does, finding the single bowl. So Chris and Keith will start us off here in cricket. They will have the darts to win tonight's championship. And 3 clean darts for Chris. Gonna close out those 20s. We'll see if Rich decides to go up or down. It does go down for the 19s. And finds the triple to put a little pressure. Great 5 mark from Rich. And Keith stays up there for 3 20s. Bryan wide on the first dart. Does catch the second one, but needs one more. Doesn't find it, so Chris with a chance here. And he's outside on the first dart. Does find it with the second dart. And looks over at the 16s, looking to close out another number. Doesn't quite find it. But the pressure is still on for Rich here. Goes upstairs to 18s. Just misses the trip 18 there. Only able to find one, not missing by much. Keith also just missing that trip 18, moves over to point and doesn't quite find it. Needed to take a second to steady himself. He just kept moving over. Is Bryan able to capitalize? Looks like he misses low on the second dart. Hard to tell. Looks like he caught 2 there. Not quite enough. Chris gonna look to punish here. And he does find the trip. Moves over to those 16s. And does close them out. And now a commanding lead for Keith and Chris to take home this championship. Rich is gonna need to find some big darts here. Again, just wide on those triples. Not missing by much. But those are the margins of this game. And he closes out the 17s, leaving only the 15s in the bullseyes for Bryan and Rich to make a comeback. 3 numbers open for Keith and Chris. Bryan goes right over to those 15s. Does look like he finds the trip there. And a nice 5 mark from Bryan to keep themselves in this. Chris looked for the trip on the first dart. Did not find it, so he moved up to points. They will still be down in points, but do have 3 numbers open. See what Rich opts to do here. Does opt to go start closing. Doesn't catch the trip on the first dart, so he moves over to points. Now Keith and Chris down 2 marks, essentially. Does choose to go upstairs. Might look to go after the 15s, having all 3 numbers open. And he moves over for what looks like the 16s. Maybe he wasn't comfortable in the 20s. 2 marks does give them the point lead back. And we saw Chris go to left for the close last time. Might do it again. Does. But after the first, he goes back upstairs. Doesn't want to take any chances here. Rich just low on that first one. Able to pick up 2. Keeps putting the pressure on. A tiny point lead. But it will force Chris and Keith to points. The choice is whether they're going to close first or if they're going to point first. With 3 numbers open, it's anybody's guess. But he will find the trip 20 with the first one. And he will regroup as he goes and looks for the 15s. And finds one of the 15s. The points are still open, so a big hit from Bryan could still turn this game around. And 1 is not going to be enough. 2 is not going to be enough, as Chris will step up to the line. Drills the 15. Outside on the bowl. And finds the second. So they are now 1 dart away, 2 bowls from victory. Rich and Bryan needing a good amount of bowls here. Rich was able to find 1. Looks like he's able to find 2 there. Give them a fighting chance. But Keith, with a big chance to end this game right here. It's just low on the first. And he goes upstairs with a trip 20 to really try to seal the deal on this game. Bryan a little wild on the first dart. Reins it in with the second and then finds the double on the third. But still 1 dart away here. And he finds it on the first dart. Chris and Keith are our champions this week. What a match by both teams. Sporting a 2-8 and a 2-3 in cricket there. Great game. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you tune into the live stream every Friday night at 7:30 for our Luck of the Draws. And subscribe to us here on YouTube for more Grand Finals games. Have a good one, everybody.